That's the first time we met, and then we came back to Manchester like a year later. We connected on, he brought me to his studio, played me all his hardest hip-hop beats. I sat there unimpressed. I'm not even unimpressed, but I don't think my face did much.
I think I learned later on that his face just doesn't do much.
Yeah.
Welcome to Fright Island.
Thank you.
We're going to be treated to some food from Baratxuri and have a chat.
Yeah, man.
Been a bit of a weird year for recording artists and the whole human race generally, but I think for guys like you, how have you found the experience of this year?
It's been a bit of a crazy year. Obviously, we had a lot of plans, a lot of shows, a lot of places we was supposed to be going that all got cancelled. But I suppose it could be a blessing in disguise because we got to make an album.
Yeah.
And I doubt we would have got it done if we didn't have so much time on our hands.
Right.
So yeah.
How have you found the process of being of going through that? Because you've not had tours, you've not had shows, you've not had anything like that.
I think I'll speak for myself to a degree, that the creative side of things, just being inspired to create is one side of things, just having them ideas flying around. I think if your brain isn't kind of travelling and seeing new things and having new experiences, I think you struggle. There's been times throughout the year where we've kind of, it's not flowed. For the most part, we've had, we've had enough inspiration.
So it's not just a full album of anti-coronavirus disses and things like that.
I didn't say that.
How are you getting on in terms of the getting used to the fact of not doing shows then? Because you're quite prolific tourers. How many shows did you do the year before, last year?
We pretty much gigged at least every week. It was weird because say for some weeks during summer, we'd be away for a week or two at a time.
Yeah.
Some weeks we'd just be away at the weekend. Some weeks we'd have 2 or 3 shows one week. It's a bit random, but that was the most travelling I've ever done in my life in the last couple of years.
Definitely.
And then going to that from travelling all the time to literally sitting still for a year. I think the one thing that I've noticed this year is people were so unaware how artists earn their money.
Yeah.
Most of us don't really make a lot of money off selling music.
No.
We have to rely on gigging. That is the main income. So once that's done, people don't realise that streaming doesn't, unless you're at the top end of the scale, you're not making a huge amount of money from streaming.
No, absolutely.
And that's just one side as well. That's without the sound guys and the promoters and the agents and the bar staff and whatever, just etc. etc. It just goes on and on. It's a hell of a lot of people out of work.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot, So I really don't know how them people are coping. I think we've been lucky that we've got a fan base that listens to our music. We've had some income as far as streaming and such and such, but nothing in comparison to what you make when you get out there gigging. That's how we earn our living, and I know a lot of other people definitely struggling right now.
I suppose it's shone a light back on the streaming side of things. I was seeing someone kick off about it saying the owner of Spotify is worth more than the Beatles, and it's and he makes his money off music, and something needs to change on that front because of how much artists are getting ripped off by a lot of streaming platforms. And when all of your other supplementary income streams, like touring and things like that, it does bring about this conversation again that something more needs to be done on it. But
yeah, but it's the alternative, innit? What's the alternative? It's
revolt.
Yeah, that's it.
Revolt, storm the castle.
Unless we all do it, it's you know what I mean? So yeah.
I just think there's a whole generation of people who are grown up not paying for music.
Yeah.
And
back in the Napster days where you used to
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily worse off. I think as artists, we're better off. I think artists today are making more money than they ever have in history as far as for themselves. They're not having to give up as much. Oh yeah.
Hey,
hello.
It's a bit of
Glyphian fillet, roasted potatoes, roasted tomato and roasted onion salad. Octopus, long winter salad, so it's red pepper puree, alioli, frisee capers and roasted potatoes.
Crikey.
Prawns on squid ink rice, alioli.
Oh yeah.
Meats and cheeses we got there. And there's cauliflower bravas there, so bravas sauce, roasted cauliflower, a little bit of a heel on top as well. All right, guys,
thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow, I don't know where to start.
You can start with this one, man.
Yeah. What's your thought there? Because we were just saying I don't eat anything that swims, so like the octopus side of it, I think you guys can cover it.
I eat all that.
You should try things every few years as well, because your palate changes as well, man. It's like you that.
It's all me, whatever.
Yeah. It's all me.
I'm one of them. I just put it in my mouth and then I'll decide
worry
what's
about it
in my belly.
afterwards. So I mean, just to kind of go back a little bit then, because we haven't kind of covered, like you guys obviously came from the same scene in Manchester in terms of you've both been around the hip hop, kind of particularly prominently hip hop scene for years and years. I think, didn't you say you met in Paris?
Yeah, which
is a weird place to meet.
I was in a group called Broken English. Well, it wasn't romantic. I was in a group called Broken English with DRS and Strategy. He was in a group called Body Rock. Yeah. And we'd never crossed paths up until that point.
Yeah, we'd never
met or talked before. And we both randomly got booked for a gig in Paris. Yeah. That's the first time we met. And then we came back to Manchester like a year later. We connected he brought me to his studio. Played me all his hardest hip hop beats. I sat there unimpressed. I'm not even unimpressed, but I don't think my face did much.
I think I learned later on that his face just doesn't do much.
Yeah. So, but then he played me like a pretty soulful one, and I was like, oh, I like this.
Oh, his face did something then.
Yeah. His face did something. He's like, oh, you like this? I was like, yeah. And then we started talking about like the music we both liked, and we both realised we both really like soul music, a lot of old soul music, a lot of reggae, a lot of like soulful hip hop, as well as harder hip hop as well. But like, we shared a common bond in some of the soulful stuff that we both.
Other people didn't really like as much in it.
At the time, the hip hop scene in Manchester was really dead. Everyone was doing drum and bass and dubstep at the time, or grime, or just like bass music. And we were just like, it's not really what we know. We'd be lying if we would like pretending to do that. So we just stuck to our guns with it, and eventually, after a few years of sticking to our guns and no one caring, people eventually kind of took notice. Go on, try it, man.
All right.
Get that.
It's not like what you think.
Get that one with the tentacles and all that.
Mate, honestly, this will be the first time.
Yeah, same. I've never had it.
I've ever eaten anything from the sea.
The first time you throw up on camera.
Yeah. That's all right, actually.
It's not what I thought it'd be like.
No. Well, I've just eaten octopus for the first time in my life.
How do you feel about it?
I feel all right about it, you know. You got together as a duo. Was it with the indications to just make music that you were ever a fan of, basically?
You know what? It was just literally doing what we knew, and what we both liked, and what wasn't being done at the time. Not that no one else was doing it, but no one was in Manchester was making a success out of it. There was like people would make. There was singers, there was rappers, but everyone who was making it out of Manchester was doing the other style of music, as I say, and we just didn't want to pretend that we were jumping on a wave that wasn't really what we were truly into.
And it wasn't really with an expectation that it was going to become what it has become.
Not at all. We were both on our I definitely was like, this is my last go at this, and let me just get on with working a day job and paying bills and stuff like that. And Travel Light was literally like, this is me putting my last thing out in the atmosphere, and see you later after that.
Yeah.
And then we just gigged for 2 years straight and just couldn't do anything else. So,
well, I think the reception off the album was, I would imagine, was it like as much as you could have possibly expected?
I don't think we've expected anything from the beginning. Everything's been a bonus. The response to Still Standing was amazing. The stuff we did in between, and then we put out The Story So Far, which I wasn't too keen on putting out because it was just like a collection of demo songs that we'd done, nothing really finalised, and we'd not really completely found our sound at that point.
Right.
Didn't sound that cohesive to me at the time, but it was probably the best thing we ever did.
Yeah, I mean, for any artist listening, the one piece of advice I'd say is a full-length project or an album is the game changer.
Yeah. And don't wait too long to feel like it's not ready yet. Like, obviously there is a degree of, be a perfectionist to a degree, make sure you're putting some good stuff out there, but don't be over the top with holding everything back till it's right. Put together a little project, allow people to listen to it, a long play, and sit down with it. You know what I mean? You get to know you a little bit.
Yeah,
makes a massive difference. It did for us. That's where things just really started to move then for us. Nobody likes cooking steak for me because I like it well done. I'm just so predictable.
Oh really? You're one of those guys?
Yeah, but I'll try. That's good.
I do think people are a little bit over the top with that. Well, like, you can't have a well-done steak. Like, if I'm paying for a steak, I'll have it wherever I want it.
Yeah, I think there's something about. I don't think the chefs love it that much.
No, not at all.
No.
This is brilliant, by the way.
Yeah, it is really good. And then you've done some collaborations with some people that, like, you know, have been kind of people that have been heroes and people that have bigged you up and shouted you out. I mean, Jazzy Jeff has been someone who's supported the music.
Mate, the list of people who've reached out
Oh yeah.
is like, every now and again I'll just message him and go, I'll just show him in our DMs.
Yeah.
It'll just be like someone we grew up both like
Being a mad fan.
heroes,
Crazy.
just like absolute heroes, the aliens, the people that we just thought were so unreachable, and they're just like, yeah, we all listened to it on the tour bus, or yeah, we played your album, and it just doesn't stop, man. And it's just getting crazier and crazier.
Have you got any collaborations planned with anyone outside of?
Not really, you know. Like, I think that there needs to be we need to hang out, we need to vibe, we need to spend probably a day with you, just like not even making music before we can make music. Because anytime we've made music with people where it's just been like, send the acapella over the internet, we've regretted doing it. I think it's just a vibe thing, man. We've got to vibe first as people.
I think for us, being able to produce our own stuff, being able to sing our own hooks, write our own raps or whatever, there's not really much that we're kind of missing. It's like, if I'm missing something, I'll send it him. If he's missing something, he'll send it me. So more time, it's more like, oh, maybe let's just try something different, or like Connie said, it's one of our people that we're already with, and if we're just there anyway, then we're gonna vibe together, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the crack with the new album then?
It's almost done, man. The weird thing about it is we were meant to have it finished in March, just gone.
Yeah.
Like, and we just didn't hand it in. Yeah, I think we're gonna stick to this date. Hopefully that means a spring release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to go out. Can't wait no longer. Even if it's just our fan base, they're waiting for it.
Yeah.
They need it. I feel super lucky that we've held on to it for so long, because that same fan base could have easily moved on after 6 months, after a year, after 18 months. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's been plenty of times when it could have shrunk and people could have walked away from it, and they haven't. So I feel like by now we all giving them something back, man, I think.
Because I guess we're at that point now where there is like challenges, people can't go out and do shows, people can't do this, but there's got to become like an after this.
Yeah, of course, man.
Surge, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I feel like we got to peer into the window of the future by we got to do a couple of gigs within this space. When it opened up for a little while, did something in Leeds, something in London, and the response, just the vibe of the night, it was like, you got the sense these people haven't been out for a while, and they really need this.
People cried, man, people cried.
It was an emotional night, man. It was for us and for a lot of people.
We didn't even realise how much we needed it. Like, afterwards, we were just like, wow, like, we needed that gig. We did like 4 in London over a weekend, and it was just like, they had to stay seated, but you could tell people were just like, I've not done this for months, and it's a release, do you know what I mean? We obviously do that more than people go to gigs. Like, we're gigging every week, and some people might go to like 5 gigs a year, but for us, we were just like, oh, we didn't even realise how much we missed this.
did it add any like difference to the show, that it being like all seated? And
First gig we did was in Leeds, and we did one of our songs called Hard Work, and people started standing up and dancing, and security came and went ballistic, told them to stop the music, turned it off, and it was just like, it was like a dystopian future, and we were just like, no, this is, who's told him to tell them to, you know what I mean? He's obviously following orders, and no one's thought it through. Like, you can all be sat there, but you can't stand up in the same place you sat and dance, and...
I mean, viruses famously can't infect you unless you stand it.
Exactly, man.
It was really strange, innit? Even like the guy's response, he was obviously just a guy working, but the fear on his face was like, yo, people really need to sit down. I felt for the guy, because he was panicking, because as the vibe was rising, people would just look like they was itching to go up. Yeah, man, but we had to stop the set a couple of times and tell people to sit down and stuff, so yeah, that side of it was a bit weird, but it was just nice to see people again, smiles and laughter.
A bit
and
of
all
human
that stuff.
interaction.
But I think we've been lucky in the sense of our style of music has been able to translate over to like seated stuff and stuff like that.
When we go back to when we first started Children of Zeus, and everyone was
doing
as I say, drum and bass and grime.
Or dubstep, and we were like wobbly bass around at that time when we started.
We were just like sat there with this really slow like music, and we were like, oh, this is not going to translate well to being a live gig. And now we're sat here like one of the only few that translates well to being a live gig because people can sit down and it seems quite natural. It's sad for a lot of people who don't get to do the live gigs at the moment, but
Yeah.
in some ways I'm glad we stuck to what we were doing just because it's kind of given us the opportunity to come and do some seated gigs and stuff now.
Maybe the answer is just start doing some international waters.
Well, some guy just got nicked, didn't he, for going to
Jet
visit his,
skiing.
jet skiing to his girlfriend
Did
in like
see
one of
that.
the Channel Islands.
I read that he'd never been on a jet ski before, and he thought it would take 40 minutes. It took him 4 hours.
4 hours. Jesus, imagine being on a jet ski for 4 hours in this weather. Woo!
That's some serious
Surprised he made it.
commitment to his girlfriend. That
I know.
I'm into it.
She should marry him for that.
Are you going to try one of these before we...
I wouldn't even know where to begin taking a prawn apart.
Nah, it's worth the journey. Take the line out the back, like the dark line out the back.
Yeah, you don't want to know what happens.
You don't want none of that
I'm
shit.
going to stick some meat in. What are they doing in terms of festivals and stuff then?
Well, this is the thing I heard a month or two ago, Glastonbury was going ahead.
Really?
Yeah, Glastonbury was going ahead. So if Glastonbury's going ahead, I'm guessing everyone else is planning to go ahead. We've got bookings for a London festival, Croatian festival. Like, festivals are planning to go ahead. Obviously, all you can do is plan to go ahead. If it doesn't happen, I don't know what the situation is, but I'm guessing by that time, things will be in place where it makes it easier to do that.
They have to be, don't they, really? I don't think you could do another year like this. I don't think we'd survive.
Well, I suppose we've got the vaccine on the way, haven't we?
Well, yeah. There
Fast
we go.
testing could potentially. Yeah. But the thing about it is we're so in our own little world in this country that we're not looking at around the world where they're fully back to normal in parts of Asia, Australia, New Zealand. They're having full-on festivals and raves right now.
Yeah.
And
And we're not
that's
invited.
doable. Yeah, we're not invited. We're not even invited to Europe after January
No, after
1st, are we? So, yeah.
No, it's been extended, I think.
How's that? This is the thing. Brexit's gone very quiet, hasn't it? It's really taken precedence to start talking about everything else but Brexit, and all of a sudden it's going to come hurtling around the corner.
Around
and
the
be
corner.
Like, don't actually know what it means.
I'm still as clueless the day I heard about it as I am now. I don't know
I
what it's
literally
going
saw
to
an
mean for
advert
me.
on Twitter yesterday where it's a government advert saying businesses get ready for Brexit.
But it doesn't
and
say
no one
what
knows
you're getting
what the
ready
hell
for.
they got getting ready for.
I've watched a couple of MPs getting grilled about it, and they just none of them can articulate what's going to happen at all. It's crazy.
Their ability to just skirt around a specific topic is pretty impressive at times.
Well, that's said to be a trait, innit? They look at that as a good trait in a politician. If you skate around these questions, where I think we need to kind of turn that on its head, and like if you answer things straight, that should be the trait of being a good politician.
Because there's no other walk of life you can get away with like operating like that. You know, like if you're around your calf and your missus is like, did you move that thing?
I tried it
You're
with my
like,
missus, it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, apparently Brexit, I just saw Brexit's about to hit. Flooding is meant to happen early next year.
right.
And obviously they're saying a lot of the lorries importing our food will probably get stuck on the way. So
getting pretty
you know,
biblical, isn't it?
COVID was bad, but I think if we've got COVID and all that to worry about, it might actually get worse next year.
Like maybe like an asteroid bang or something like that might be just what we need to.
Maybe the album's what we all need. Maybe the Zeus album
This
might
is
just bring a bit of, you know what I mean, a bit of normality, a bit of balance back to the world.
What's the album called? Are you allowed to release that yet? Or are you still
Not
keeping it
yet.
under embargo?
Not yet, yeah.
He's actually mentioned it in this interview, but when it comes out and you rewatch this interview, you probably hear it.
Right.
Within the last 3 minutes, to be fair.
Asteroid hit.
Damn it, it's leaked.
In the instance of that there was like some sort of catastrophic event, how well do you reckon you'd do? You're an outdoorsy people.
He's got his old man. His old man's like, you know what I mean, and just dip his hand in a load of mud and drag a load of earthworms out.
Oh, really? One of them.
Make a house out of it and then eat it. We're not ready at all, are we?
I would
Not
be
ready at all.
nothing.
I think I'm a bit more ready than like Karen and Paul or something, but I think otherwise from that.
No. Have you got any healthy eating or healthy vibes to move into the new year?
I was in the right direction for being super fit for this summer. Back to boxing, name check my cousins, Zelfa Barrett, Lyndon Arthur.
He just had a big fight, didn't he?
Yeah, Lyndon Arthur, just beat Anthony hard. Yeah, he beat Anthony hard. Kicked his backside, but yeah, man, so I've just been training with the family and stuff, trying to stay fit, just so when we hit them festival stages, we can take our tops off and swing
This
them
is
around.
the year.
Not flexing the dad bods
Yeah,
for
well,
the festival circuit. As the lockdown period uncovered any like secret skills or anything you've got. I've realised how much of a domestic god I am.
I built decking, didn't I?
Right.
Connie's seen it.
Well,
I've got pretty good at the internet.
Don't you do nail art as well?
No, that's not me.
Alright.
You on Facebook now?
No.
No, I've taken a step back from that
Deleted
one.
Facebook.
What's your platform of choice then? You moved on to TikTok yet?
I'm on Clubhouse at the moment,
Right, okay.
which is pretty exclusive, so you won't know about it. Do you know what I
No, I
mean?
don't.
I hate dramas in my own life, but I love like when some baby mum or some baby father's like got like a 16-page paragraph to say something about their ex, and then there's a load of people commenting and out on it underneath, and then I'm the kind of person that'll search who the ex was, and then I'll go and see what they're saying on there.
I hate all that. I can't stand it.
I'm a bit strange.
As long as you take it for what it is, like I like going on something.
I love that. I love watching other people's beef. Yeah. Like if there's fights in my street, which they often is, I'm out the window all the time like an old guy, like twitching the curtains, like, oh, there's a bit of drama out there.
You're just heading a bit closer into an episode of Black Mirror, aren't we? Which is like how that all kind of started out. But
mate, this year has been the most Black Mirror-ish shit I've ever seen in my life. This is ridiculously Black Mirror this year. 2020 should I say, is complete Black Mirror zone. Yeah.
But then it's a new album for 2021 and then we're all good.
Yeah.
And we've been fair, we can't complain too much. That was banging, all that food, I'm into it.
Yeah, same.
I'm going to carry on off camera.
Yeah.
Lick these discs.
Yeah, nice one, Baratxuri.